I had a business idea. I was in my kitchen about 7 years ago. I had a brilliant idea for a website.
So where'd that come from?
It just came out of, I teach violin.
But where'd it come from? Were you in the receptive mode, do you think?
I definitely must have been.
Had it been in that vortex? And then you received it? It was a brilliant idea 7 years ago?
Mm.
Yeah? And then what?
I started trying to develop it, and I kept running into roadblocks on the details. I think I'm in a better place now with running the business, but I was wondering whether you could help me get some clarity on
but
it.
here's something that we really want you to hear in a powerful way. All of you. If you had a brilliant idea 7 years ago, and you still remember the impact of that receiving moment, and then roadblocks happened, and so it didn't really develop yet, wait for the next idea. Wait for the next idea.
That was part of my question, because since then I've had other ideas.
Well, you see, it's time to get an idea once the receptive mode is stable within you. Because think about what's been happening. And we're talking about most people. Usually not in the receptive mode, usually not in the receptive mode, usually not in the receptive mode, usually not in the receptive mode. Stumbled into the receptive mode, got an idea. Bam! But couldn't bring it to fruition because didn't understand that it was now a thought that would turn to a thing. You didn't know then what you know now, is what we're saying. And so those ideas that came that you didn't understand and your receptive mode wasn't a practice place for you, it's all right. Just let them be wherever they be, because you're the culmination of all of that. And when the next idea comes from your now more stable place, you will know what to do better about it. Don't you all feel more capable now than you did a few days ago of following through with an idea that is born within you? Don't you understand it more? Do you believe more today than you did before that it is something that you've received and that it matters and that it's a good thing that you received it, that really counts for a lot? Doesn't the desire that you realize count for a whole lot more than it did just a few days ago, now that you've got it into the perspective of thoughts turning to things? Wouldn't you say that about yourselves? We would. We can feel that clearly within you. And so that's why we say the next idea that comes, it's not likely that you will crush it with doubting beliefs. The next idea that comes, it's more likely that you will allow it to just unfold, and that the inspiration that you feel will lead it to something that feels good. You're in an entirely different place. You no longer feel that you're proving yourself with your desires. You now are understanding that you've come as a creator and that creative juices are flowing, and that your inner being is the juiciest of all the creative juicy flowers. That there is juice flowing from your inner being, that your inner being knows where you are. Your inner being knows where you are in relationship to everything that you want. Your inner being knows what the path of least resistance is. The path of least resistance, in other words, your inner being knows what beliefs are in your way and how to guide you around them. Have you ever thought of path of least resistance like that before? Your inner being knows what beliefs you hold that are dream crushers. Your inner being knows what beliefs that you hold that are in the way, and knows how to guide you around those if you will just let being in the receptive mode be what matters most. Doesn't that feel good to you? Don't you want to respond to inspiration? Wouldn't you all like to, in a way, go back and relive with your parents? Why aren't you doing that? Because I don't want to. I'm not feeling the inspiration about it, so I'm not going to do it. Our cluttered friend, we don't want her to clean up her mess until she feels inspired to do it. So we want to say, don't do it for us, don't do it for anyone else, do it out of the inspiration that comes. So really all of you who have a desire, without exception, every desire that you have is going to have to evolve through a sort of chaotic mess that you've left along your physical trail. And your inner being knows where the messiest places are. Your inner being knows how to help you navigate through it. Your inner being knows what thoughts will take you through it clearly. Your inner being knows what rendezvous with others are the path of least resistance. Your inner being understands all of that, you see. Don't you feel more optimistic? Do you feel more optimistic? If you feel more optimistic, then you are in a more likely place of being in the receptive mode. So the ideas that come now, the fresh, ideas that are coming now, those are the ones that you're going to feel the inspiration to act on. And a lot of the ideas that are coming now will be dovetailed with ideas that you've had before. Your desires never go away, but a fresher path is unfolding. That's really what we mean to say. The new idea will bring with it a fresher path for you to accomplish everything you've been meaning to accomplish all the days along your physical trail. How about that? This fresh new idea is the newest path of least resistance to get you to where you've always wanted to be. We want to say it in about 20 different ways to you so that you will really feel it from us. Good enough?
I do have another question.
Yes?
I teach violin. Violin requires a lot of playing to get good. So,
well, let's rework that just a little bit. Why would that be? Because I have so many beliefs about how difficult this is. So I really have to work hard at getting good at this because it's not easy otherwise. In other words, almost everybody feels that way about almost everything. We have to overcome the adversity and the difficulties of this. And we want to say to you, really?
I guess for me, I love playing, so I don't have too much trouble with playing.
Well, we cut you off in the beginning.
Yeah.
We cut you off here. So say what you meant to say, and then we'll go back and talk about where we're at.
How do I...
We just think it's a pretty good idea if you don't start out by saying, I want to do this thing that's really difficult. I just think that that's sort of like asking for trouble right away.
Okay.
And as your violin teacher, I would like to say to you that you're probably not ever going to get good at this because it's hard. And there are only a few people that really master it. And you've got to really try hard. You've got to really focus, and you really got to do this a lot. And you're going to make a lot of horrible, horrible sounds with this violin on the way to getting good at it. But all that struggle is going to be worth it. We're having fun with you. But it is in there, and so...
Yeah. How do I convey to my students and their parents the best way for them to do the work that would help them at home to get where they want to go?
By, first of all, deciding yourself that you're not going to torture any of them that don't have a desire. And that if they have a desire, then the whole experience is going to be really fun. Got to look for the fun. Got to look for the fun. Got to look for the fun. 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 Not the struggle. Not the accomplishing. Not the wrestling it to the ground and killing it. We like this conversation because so many of the things you want are sort of like learning to play the violin, where you've already decided that it's hard. You've already decided that it's hard, and it's like shooting yourself in the foot before you even start. And so it's what you're doing in advance of that. And what you're doing in advance of that is mastering something else. And what is it that you're wanting to master first? Alignment. What is it that we've been talking about mastery of? We've been talking about mastery of vibration, mastery of alignment. So before anyone ever even picks up the instrument that's going to be the object with which they are going to measure their accomplishment, it's the mastery of alignment. So you want them to know about step one. You want them to know that contrast has caused them to put things into their vortex. And you want to help them to identify if playing the violin is in their vortex. In other words, with what they've been living, do they have a desire for that? Have they received a desire for that? Or did their parents receive a desire for them? In other words, do they actually have a desire?
Yeah, I think most of my students do. Yeah.
So the contrast has served them, and now the vortex has mixed this up, and they have a desire. And if you are breaking that desire down, what could some of it be? They want a little bit of recognition, or they like the feeling of flow, or they like the feeling of music, or they like the feeling of the vibration of the instrument itself, or they like the idea of accomplishing something. In other words, these are all good things that they've been sifting and sorting, that have been put into the vortex. And so the idea has been received. So what we're encouraging you to do, whether you do it overtly or whether you just do it personally, that you take them in your mind through these 5 steps, and that you convince yourself that they have accomplished mastery of vibrational alignment before you even begin to play the instrument. So what does that mean? That means you want to know if they really want to do it. Is this something that you really want to do? And why? As you're asking the question and they're answering it, If you can influence them toward how fun it is and how enlivening it is and how much fun it is to be part of something like that. In other words, that's what you're wanting to inspire. But you're not inspiring them playing the violin. You're inspiring them achieving the mastery of alignment with who they really are. You're helping them to build their confidence. You're letting them know that you believe that they can do it. You're letting them to know that as you look at their hands, as you look at their body, as you look at the way that they even hold the thing, that you just have a good feeling about it. In other words, you're a soother. You're soothing them into alignment about this subject. And so step 1, step 2, you're standing there in support of them as their inner being is. And then you're seeing them and you are assessing on your own whether they are in the receiving mode. And if they seem stubborn about it, if they seem obstinate about it, they're not in the receiving mode. They're in the efforting mode. They're in the, I got to do this because somebody else wants me to do this mode. And then you can say to their parents or to them just as well, you know, maybe this isn't something that you want to do right now or ever. You're not pushing them beyond their vibrational ability. That's really what we're talking to you all about all day, every day. We don't want to push you beyond your vibrational ability. And while we know for sure that there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have, so you have enormous potential for vibrational ability, we're not encouraging you to take one action towards something until you have achieved vibrational alignment with who you really are. Mastery of vibration, and then turn your attention towards something, you see. Well, if someone has a desire that is born, they've already accomplished most of that. If they have been in the receiving mode enough to receive a pure desire. But a lot of these kids, they don't desire it. Their parents desire it. A lot of these people, they're not desiring it. They haven't accomplished that yet. And so anything that you do with them is counterproductive in the beginning. We're talking to all of you about anything that you're wanting to accomplish. We want you to use the analogy about the violin, about everything. Say to yourself, have I accomplished vibrational mastery? Well, if I have, then desires are going to occur to me, and it's going to be a slam dunk, a sure thing. Anything that hatches in this brilliant mind of mine from this stage of mastery will easily be accomplished. And until I've accomplished this stage of mastery, then there's no point in trying to move forward on anything. This is what deliberate creation is, you see. It's not accomplishing something. It's not finding some condition that makes me believe. It's mastery from the inside out. It's caring about the way I feel. And when you feel that way, when you feel that way about yourself, when you feel that way about them, when you know the laws of the universe as we've presented them here today, as you care about how you feel, as you go into these training sessions with a student that you know is already there, oh, what will come from them, the performances that will come from them, and the satisfaction that will come from them, and the music that they will make with the instruments of their choosing will be something for the entire world to revel in, the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version. But we want you to make no mistakes as a teacher. What is it that you are instructing? You're not instructing the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version. You're instructing the alignment version. The rest will follow, you see. And you will get to be the witness of that, not the reason for it, the witness of it. Oh, yeah. Enough? Yeah.